First of all, thank you for your time to be here. We spent together 1 hour or less just to see what the Italian army is doing in the international environment. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Bar Massimiliano. I'm the Italian as an officer to the Maneuver Center of Excellence. For this briefing, I will use some speaking notes just to help me and to help you to better understand what I will try to explain you. So the aim of this presentation is to give you an overview about what the Italian army think the characteristic of the future operational environment are going to be, and to describe how the Italian army is adapting its maneuver forces accordingly. So this is the goal of this presentation. So this is the agenda. The briefing will mainly divided in 3 parts. The first part concerns what we have done as Italian army until now. What are the 3 main lessons that we have learned from Afghanistan? The second part is how we see the current trends and what are our vital area of interest. And the third and last part will be how we are reorganizing as an army to face these kind of challenges. So this slide shows what have been our international commitments in the last 20 years. As you can see, we reached the peak in 2003 with 9,000 soldiers deployed abroad. We were deployed in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Lebanon. Right now we are 3,000 in average, 2014. And probably, as you have read, we will increase our contingent in Afghanistan. And we will probably increase our support to train the Kurdish soldiers. So I will speak about this later. So these are the most important operation abroad that the Italian army has done since 1979. As you can see, there is a rapidly increased after the fall of Berlin Wall in 1989. Some of these missions are still open. So we have right now soldiers in Mali with the European Union training mission, in Somalia. We have soldiers in Afghanistan. We have soldiers in Lebanon. And we have soldiers in Iraq for the ISIL, against the ISIL. Okay, this slide gives an overview of the Italian army contribution in the world and how we approach the operations. So as you can see, most of our operations are not unilateral operations. So NATO operations are our most commitment, followed by United Nations operations and European Union operations. So we have a national operation right now. It's called Safe Street. And the aim of this operation is surveillance, as well patrol, search, task, support of police forces in sensitive site and objectives. So this is an operation that we perform on Italian country just to protect our sensitive site. And we will increase the soldiers that will be deployed for this national operation. So today we will add 700 more soldiers. So we will pass from 1,300 to 2,000, according to what has happened in Paris a couple of days ago. And according also what is happening in Rome, because this year we'll have the Jubileo, so we'll expect a lot of Christians community coming to Rome. So we are increasing a lot our commitment in the capital. So now I start with the three main lessons that we have learned from Afghanistan. This is the first. So the first lesson is increasing the operational effectiveness of small units has led to the integration at the lowest echelon of capabilities and assets able to support the maneuver in high intensity, close combat situation, and during operation in different and complex terrain. So this is the first lessons that we have learned from Afghanistan. And what as Italian Army we have done according to the DOT-LMPFI domain. So from a doctrinal point of view, we have released two new publications and which emphasize the employment of combined arms team. From an organizational point of view, we have increased the combat support, combat service support, and ISTAR capabilities, both in brigades and regiment structure. In particular, for the brigades, we have reorganized our maneuver brigade. I will show you later. And for the regiment, we have increased and we have had higher and more effective support by fire capabilities with 60mm and 81mm mortars available at platoon level, 120mm mortars at battalion and regiment level, sniper teams at company level, plus an increased ISTAR capability thanks to the scout reconnaissance platoon per battalion regiment, and micro UAVs at company level. For training, in the training domain, joint fire observers courses for design personnel within the infantry platoon, with an increased capability for the small unit to effectively employ the joint fire sources. For a material point of view, thanks to the refielding of the 81mm mortars and the consequent capacity to engage at medium distance, platoon size unit have achieved a better fire support capability. From the leadership and education domain, we have reviewed and updated pre-command courses for brigade, regiment, company commanders, and staff courses in order to update the key leaders through the integration of feedback from the theater and enable them to better manage all the capabilities and assets that now the Italian Army has made them available. Second main lesson that we have learned from Afghanistan. Increase the protection of our forces through an integrated approach. This brings us to have to improve our capabilities in terms of command and control, ISTAR, protection, maneuver, and night mobility, and precision and lethality. So what, according to these lessons, what we have done in the DOT-LMFPI domain. From a doctrinal point of view, we have produced two documents, two doctrinal notes about insider threat, and the other doctrinal note was about maneuver. And this doctrinal note addresses how some specific form of maneuver may actually mitigate the risk and reduce the vulnerability of our forces. From an organizational point of view, right now every platoon has its own paramedic. This solution had been already implemented by the units in the theater in the past, but it was not included in the unit's MTOEs. From a training point of view, we have established a counter-ID center of excellence with enhanced competencies in doctrine, lessons learned, and training. In addition, new training programs have been developed with regard to the individual physical training in order to increase the soldier skills and eventually improve his survival capability in the field. From a material point of view, an individual combat system program has been launched with acquisition of parts and components that will limit soldiers' vulnerability without hampering his overall mobility. I'm referring particularly in night vision goggles. Finally, the acquisition of the Otomelara Itrol remote overhead light electrical turret, which can be operated by the soldier from inside the combat vehicle. From personnel perspective, along with the new training programs, we have increased the individual physical requirements that we perform annually. And for the facilities, we had launched a facility protection program which integrate ISTAR capability, ground-based operational surveillance systems like GBOS, passive protection systems, and fire support assets. So third and last main lessons that we have learned from Afghanistan was the flexibility of the maneuver with, in particular, with air maneuver. And we have seen that this has improved our air mobile operations, tactical and logistic airlift assets, and medical evacuation. So what we have done, from a doctrinal point of view, we have done a doctrinal note covering the air maneuver and the field manual on forward medevac. From a training point of view, we did helicopter airlift courses for infantry units which are not air mobile in nature. I'm referring to mechanized units. From a material point of view, the fielding of the NATO helicopter NH-90, widely used in Afghanistan, where it proved to be extremely flexible, and the acquisition of the rover remotely operated video enhanced receiver as a C2 system. So the previous slide has concluded the first part of the briefing. So what we have done and what we have learned, mainly from Afghanistan. So right now we begin the second part of the briefing, and these slides will show you how we think the future operational environment will be. First of all, we have, as Italian Army, identified 9 main global trends. It's nothing new for you, I think. New emergence powers, widespread fragile states, competition for basic resources, population growth, urbanization, mass migrations, dissemination of dual-use technologies, and fragile ecosystem due to human effect. To each of these global trends correspond some current hotspots that you can see from the picture in the map. So I speak about Israel and Palestinians issue, Syria, ISIL, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Libya, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Ukraine. So these are the current hotspots that we have identified according to the global trends. This is our area of interest, speaking about the defense point of view, not just the army, but our defense point of view. So homeland and Euro-Mediterranean region is our vital interest, so where the employment is a priority for us. Euro-Atlantic region is a strategic interest for us, but the employment of forces is always a priority. Middle East, Persian Gulf, Horn of Africa is important to protect our national interest, but the employment of the forces is limited. And the other areas, we have some where we have interest, also there the employment of forces is limited. So as you can see, our vital area of interest is the Mediterranean area. Okay? So having said that, we as Italian Army continue to believe that the main campaign teams, land forces, will probably face, that land forces will probably face in the future will remain these 4. So high intensity military operations, peace support operation, security and military assistance, and humanitarian intervention, consequence management. Any real case may see as a combination of all of these 4 and potential concurrency in the same theater of operation right now. Okay? So having said this, now this concluded the second part of the briefing. So now, according to I've said until now, I will show you how we are reorganizing our army. First of all, as an army, we have some political guidelines to reduce our forces, armed forces, Air Force, Navy, and Army. So in the next, this is a process that has already begun in 3 years. And this process will continue for the next 6-8 years. So we will move from authorized strength right now of 190,000 to 150,000, so 4,000 soldiers less. Air Force will be reduced to 10,000, from 44,000 to 34,000. Navy from 34,000 to 26,000. And Army from 112,000 to 90,000. But as you can see, at the same time, we are trying to increase our operational output from a 70% to 75%. How? Reducing our general support of 5%, so from 30% to 25%. So when I will show the next slide, take in mind this, because this is important. So we are living in a period of financial constraints, so we need to reduce our forces. So, but it's a common problem also for the US Army. So this is Italian Army Command and Control Organization. This is the actual organization, and is a new organization. So we have just last year set up a Special Forces Command, which reports directly to the Vice Chief of the Army. Army Special Operation Force Command is located in Pisa and include Special Force Regiment, Target Acquisition Regiment, Ranger Regiment, Army Aviation Special Operation Regiment, and PSYOPS unit. Meanwhile, the Land Forces HQ will maintain its authority over the NATO Rapid Deployment Corps that we have in Italy, so Biatolona. 3 Division HQ, of which one only remain expeditionary, the Acqui Division HQ, and the Folgore Airborne Brigade, directly from the Land Force Command. Signal, Intelligence, and Army Aviation Command, and the Land Forces Support Command will also report directly to the Land Forces HQ. TREDOC, Italian TREDOC, and Territorial and Infrastructure Command and Logistic Command will report directly to the Army Chief of Staff. So this is our actual organization. We have just changed these organizations last year, so this is a new organization. Having this goal in mind and having considered the characteristic of the future operational environment and the potential future commitments for land forces, Italian Army planners have designed the Italian Army on the basis of these lines. A slight increase of deployable forces from 70 to 75. The strengthening of light and medium forces. We will pass from 10, these light forces, to 40%. Medium forces, 30%, 40%. Medium forces being considered the most adaptable and flexible forces for the future conflict. The reduction of the heavy component, which at any rate retains the capability to conduct high-intensity combat and decisive action. So as you can see, we'll pass from 60% to 20%. According to what the political constraints are. So to have an army of 90,000 soldiers. The center of gravity of the reorganization of the army has been identified in the whole arms maneuver brigades. In particular, the brigades have been reorganized with the intention of making them as self-sufficient as possible operationally and logistically. Brigades now have organic infantry, reconnaissance, fires, engineers, sustainment, and command and control support. In addition to this reorganization, other principles have been applied, such as geographical concentration of commands and units. In order to cut down infrastructural costs, set favorable conditions to address future criticalities related to the personnel assignment, reassignment, and related family welfare, and seek the vicinity of maneuver units to major training areas. Strengthening the special forces sector and of the tactical operational intelligence. These assets have proved crucial on operations, but also experienced severe criticalities in terms of both quality and quantity. And finally, also crucial are the continued efforts toward multinational integration. So these are how our all maneuver brigade are organized. So 3 infantry regiment, artillery, reconnaissance, engineer, and logistics support. We have 3 different type of infantry, so light, medium, and heavy infantry, and each kind of infantry has different kind of squad. Just to better understand, our light infantry squad is a 10-man, 10-soldier squad. Our medium infantry squad is 11-soldier squad, and our heavy infantry squad is 9 soldiers. So 3 different type of squad for 3 different type of infantry unit. So going into details, we will have 2 light brigades, of which 1 air mobile and 1 airborne, that are intended for ground maneuver within and from air and for early entry operations. The other 3 light brigades, of which 2 mountain and 1 motorized, for maneuver over widely broken terrain and within built-up areas. 2 medium brigades for long deployments and to control wide areas, while retaining a remarkable warfighting capability. 1 mechanized brigade and 1 armor brigade are intended mainly for high-intensity operations. So this is how our 9 all maneuver brigades will be divided. Okay. Training reorganization. In this respect, the Italian Army has designed an integrated ground training system. It will include 1 constructive simulation center at the Army Simulation and Validation Center in Civitavecchia, close to Rome, where command post exercises up to divisional level will be hosted. 5 live simulation centers, that's to say your combat training centers, in Capo Teulada, this is Sardinia, Monte Romano, close to Rome, Cesano, where our infantry school is, and Lecce, where our armor school is, where light, medium, and heavy maneuver units from platoon to task group level will be able to conduct live training activities within a simulated environment. So according to our modernization process, we have initiated a series of engineer change program, engineer modernization program, CP, of our platforms. So this is our main battle tank. It's called Ariete. Is Italian design. Main armament is a 120 millimeter gun. Operational range is 350 miles, 4 people crew, 65 km/h speed. And we will upgrade this main battle tank in terms of protection, ISTAR, and C2 capabilities. As far as the mechanized regiments are concerned, their main platform is the Italian design Dardo infantry fighting vehicle, armed with 25mm heavy machine gun, incapable of transporting a squad of 3 crew members and 6 infantrymen. As I said before, our heavy infantry squad is a 9-soldier squad. So the heavy regiments will be grouped in 2 heavy brigades. Medium infantry. The Italian army will be structured on 6 medium regiments and 1 amphibious medium regiment. The main platform for the medium regiments is the recently developed Freccia, armored wheeled infantry vehicle, already successfully tested in combat operations in Afghanistan. As you can see in the slide, the Freccia has been designed in different configurations: combat, mortar carrier, anti-tank, command post, and recovery. The main platform for the amphibious medium regiment, Lagunari, basically is an amphibious version of the Freccia, currently under development. The Freccia, in all its versions, is armed with 25mm heavy machine gun and can transport an 11-soldiers team. So as I said before, our medium infantry squad is an 11-soldiers squad. The medium regiments will be concentrated basically in 2 medium brigades, where the amphibious regiment will be organic to an expeditionary brigade along with air mobile regiment. So the air mobile regiment and the amphibious regiment will be in the same brigade. That is our expeditionary brigade. Light forces represent the major component in the army. The main platforms for the light regiments are the light multi-role vehicles named Lince, extensively used in Afghanistan, and the Puma armored wheeled reconnaissance vehicle currently used in the UN-led operation in Lebanon with the Centauro. Is a cavalry platform, so I will not speak about Centauro. The Lince and the Puma can be armed with a 7.62mm machine gun or a 12.7mm heavy machine gun. Light infantry regiments capable of conducting a wide spectrum of operations are intended to achieve missions in specific environments and terrains against irregular threat. In compliance to this principle, the Italian army has 6 mountain infantry regiments, 3 airborne regiments, 1 air mobile regiment, and 3 general purpose light infantry regiments. Conclusion. The pillar of strategic relevance of land power is therefore the complexity of the human environment. So what is strategically relevant? Preserve public support. It seems that public opinion prefer short-term problem-solving interventions that enjoy international legal endorsement, where combat is kept to a minimum and the exit strategy is clearly stated from the beginning. Ensure credibility of deterrence. In fact, one of the pillars of the Atlantic Alliance. Land forces must therefore be prepared to focus all of their combat power at a precise spot and at a decisive moment in time in order to pave the way to the new political settlements. Maximize efficiency. How? Remain small, no easy. Save money, preserve efficacy through cooperation. Accept new roles from pre-crisis to post-conflict. How? Integrate civilian military efforts, stability and reconstruction, and military assistance. Focus on people. Prepare for complexity. Expand knowledge on the human dimension. So this is my last slide. There are some questions. Yeah.
Italy today and in the future.
So we are facing a big problem. It's called immigration, illegal immigration, and I think that terrorist attack will be on Italian soil. Will be our deepest problem. So we are trying to solve some problems in our Mediterranean regions. So I expect from you 2 questions, but I will reply to myself. So the first question is immigration. Okay. So how we are trying to face this problem. So we are right now conducting 3 main Navy operations. We are in lead of 2 of these operations. One is the most important is European Naval Force, and the area of operation of this operation is the red block, and this operation is a European Union operation led by Italy. The aim of this operation is to disrupt human smuggling network in Libya and in the Mediterranean region. This operation has been divided in 3 phases. Now the first phase is finished, and we are waiting for the legal framework and political authorization to conduct the second phase. During the first phase, just Navy and Air Force assets have been used. In the second phase, special forces task groups will be used. And in the third phase, if approved, this operation will include also amphibious task force, and also include some activities not just on the sea but also on the ground, Libya soil. First of all, to begin the second phase of this operation, we are waiting, and we need a legal framework in order to board, search, and size vessels that are moving all around in the Mediterranean Sea without asking every time the permission to the country from where these vessels belong to. So this is the main problem. So we are looking for and waiting for legal framework and political authorization to move forward with this Navy operation. This is an international operation. The second operation is a national operation, and is called Mare Sicuro, and Mare Sicuro is the area of operation of Navy operation. Mare Sicuro is the green one here, and it's a national operation, as I said before. And the aims of this operation are surveillance of offshore infrastructures of national interest, protection of National Guard coast ships during search and rescue operations, disruption of illegal smuggling network, and detection of terrorist cells within immigrants. So these are the first main goals that we would like to achieve with this mission. That is a Navy mission, and we are conducting this mission now. The third mission is also an international mission. It's just the blue box, and it's called the Triton mission. And just to check the immigrants and the border of the Italian coast. So the second question that I will try to reply is Libya. So I got these speaking notes from my defense. So this is why I can say, and this is the most updated news that you can have from me. So why? The intervention in Libya is focused on supporting Libyan authorities and forces in charge of maintaining a safe and secure environment that allow Libyan social life to restart and economic initiatives to flourish. So when and who? When the Italian Premier will formalize the leading role in the appropriate national forum, Italy will engage other countries for contribution. Italy is aware of the considerable efforts as lead nation, especially about logistics. But we believe we can afford it through appropriate burden sharing mechanisms. How? Italy confirms its availability for a leading role in managing the Libyan crisis upon, this is the most important part, a government of national accordance formation, an invitation for international support, and within an adequate legal framework through a specific UN resolution. So, it could be an Italian-led international intervention to support the GNA in resetting the country, starting from the security sector. Of course, within a close coordination with European Union naval force that is right now is operating in the Mediterranean area, and whose the third phase we will probably use amphibious forces on Libyan soil if authorized. So, and this potential intervention in Libya will not exclude further future synergies with this Navy operation, still already ongoing in the Mediterranean area. So this was the last. Questions? Yeah.
Volunteer Army, who's your recruiting pool? Have you guys integrated females in combat roles? And how supportive is your civilian populace towards your security initiatives you guys conduct with NATO every year?
Yeah, we are all volunteers army. We have women in combat unit. I think it's all the European armies. For us, it's never been a big issue to have a woman in combat unit, so there is no big issue. Our support, our civilian support, yes, we have support from civilian population. I think that what happened in Paris probably has grew up the sensibility of the population, and probably we local civilian population will understand better what we are doing, and also will support the government in all the efforts that he is doing to increase our security. So sending more soldiers abroad. So it's not easy for our defense to say to the public opinion that we will increase our soldiers abroad. But what is happening has helped us to show to the civilian population that it's necessary to send more soldiers abroad. So, other questions? Okay. Just last, every time that I attended a CLSP program, one of the questions was, "Hey, sir, can you suggest us some book to read?" Yes, I do, and yeah, I can suggest this book. This is Out of the Mountains. So probably a lot of you know already. This book has already been suggested by a general during a previous CLSP, and this book that is in the Special Operation Command Reading List 2016 will help you to understand what I just briefed. and will help you to understand how our operational environment is developing. So it's very interesting, and I will kindly suggest you to read it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, sir.
For all of y'all, to put this in perspective, right now, all our armies, they are, you look at all the European armies, our army, are making adjustments based on physical demands and threats and weighing those. The question back there, hey, what do you see as your main threat? But also realizing that, one, we've got to be able, we still have to have tanks and airborne units. So we need to be able to escalate and be a credible threat, realizing that sometimes the current threat in our face is, bodies washing up on your beaches from immigrants, boats being overturned in the Mediterranean. And so it's a very real problem set that you've got to have folks that are able to deal across that range of military operation. The other piece I really took away from this is understanding another organization, what they add and how they're different. So he described, hey, a squad has a different size to it. Well, it's probably for a reason, not because they wanted one more man than the U.S. squad. He's got a specific role. And so it's always interesting to see, okay, what is that extra guy's role? Is it another rifleman? Is it a squad designated marksman that they put in there? Is it a medic? And so talking to the internationals in the group, understand what their organization looks like, and then when you receive an attachment, what do they add? So I was in Spin Boldak, had Albanian troop attached to me. All right, they showed up, and it was a special forces troop that was the PSD that covered down on their VIPs from their country, from president on down. Okay, well, that's a capacity that's pretty useful. As we start talking about training the Afghan capacity, training my own personal PSD, partnering those guys up, and they had a lot. Same thing with the mountain warfare. Lots of mountain units.
6 regiments, yeah.
6 regiments, okay? We've got one unit that has a mountain tab on it, but there's no mountains inside of Fort Drum, okay? And so what kind of expertise can you pull from partnering with those kinds of units on how they operate, not just the tactics, but the logistics, the sustainment required to operate, how do you integrate fire support in those environments? Here's folks that are experts in that. You can go out here, and I'm sure there's a number of countries that could do it with jungle operations. So if you haven't started pulling that kind of information from the internationals in your group, you're really missing out. You have a lot to give. So again, Colonel Bar, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.